Robin Uthappa joins us live now on India Today. Robin, are you also as bullish as the fans that we're getting to hear outside the stadium? Most of them think that it should be quite an easy chase for India. How are you looking at this particular total that Afghanistan has put?
It's a very good total. I think, given the fact that they were 60 for 3 and the way that they've come back with their skipper leading from the front, I think it's a very good total. I thought it'll be under 250, but the fact that they got up to 270, 272, I think it's a great total for Afghanistan, and they'll give themselves a little bit of a chance here. They would definitely need wickets up front, and if they get wickets up front, they would put India under pressure. But India have all to play for, and it's a great opportunity for that top order to get the runs we were talking about in the pre-show.
That's very interesting. Robin, do you think that this pitch, because what we were expecting this pitch to be like was, what we had seen in that one game, that was our only reference point, the game between South Africa and Sri Lanka. That was a record-breaking game. The South African batters made merry. Is it a similar sort of strip, whatever you noticed on television, or do you think this strip is slightly different to the one that we saw in that game?
No, I think it's a similar type of strip, and I think that the bounce has been really, really good. Generally, when you go to Delhi, you generally assume that the ball's going to skid through. There's not going to be too much bounce, and it's going to be kind of skiddy kind of wicket. But this is not skiddy at all. This is actually coming on nicely. There's nice bounce there. It seems like a true wicket. Which is why it feels. I feel like the curators and the ground staff have done a commendable job creating the kind of wicket that they have. And I think it's one of the reasons that Afghanistan actually got to 270 odd. And I think this will continue to play well. Looks like a hard wicket. There's purchase for variation as well. So it's a true wicket. If you bowl well, you get wickets. If you bat well, you can get runs.
The one thing that I did notice about the pitch, Robin, when the Indian fast bowlers were bowling, there were a few balls that were gripping. You didn't see that when Indian spinners were bowling. What do you put it down to?
Well, I think obviously I think the pace at which they were bowling the variations obviously makes a difference. I think the spinners, while Kuldeep was bowling, also I think they were looking to attack Kuldeep a little bit, which is interesting to see how Kuldeep's going to deal with it in the upcoming matches, because it could be a way that other teams look to play against him. Having said that, I felt just the height difference, obviously, and I think that just hitting the ball into the wicket was working a lot more for the fast bowlers, and that gave it a little bit more grip, is what I think.
So it was a good pitch, as we're pointing out. Robin feels it's the kind of the strip that we saw in that South Africa versus Sri Lanka game. But no matter the pitch, Robin, Jasprit Bumrah is in a class of his own again, showing why he's feared by batters across the world. Outstanding bowling by him with figures of 4 for 39 on a flat track like this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you could see his first spell, the number of dot balls that he bowled in his first spell, just is a testimony of the kind of bowler and the respect that he kind of gets from players and teams around the world. And they know he's a lot to contend with in the first 5-7 overs. So all teams are always looking to kind of see him off in his first spell, which makes him a real dangerous entity. And then when he comes back with the old ball in the second and third spell, he uses variations to his advantage, and he bowls exceptionally well. Hits the right areas, bowls the really nice variations, and he's got multiple variations, and that bouncer is also deceptive of his. So he's got every trick up his sleeve, and he just needs to remain fit in that sense, right? And we all knew that he was going to go through an injury at some point in time, given his action. But I think the way he's worked on his fitness, the way he's come back, has been commendable. And it's good to see him kind of pick up where he left off, before his injury. So I think it all goes well for him and for Team India for the rest of this World Cup.
I'm looking at the scorecard right now, Robin, and at one stage, Afghanistan almost nearing in on 200. I think they were about 190 odd in the 35th over with 15 overs to go, 7 wickets in hand. You would have expected the Afghanistan batters to be a bit more adventurous. Probably it looked like 320 was realistic, but they've fallen short of that. What do you think? Was this the approach of the Afghanistan batters that was at fault, or do you think, no, the Indian bowlers were outstanding in that phase towards the death?
Well, I think they were a little adventurous, and I think that wicket from Hardik was an important one for India, because at that time that partnership was just kicking on and it got to a really sweet place. So, and that's why I think we kind of saw that celebration from Hardik, because he understood the kind of importance that wicket was for India. Because if at that point they added about 20 runs more, you could have seen a 300, closer to 300 kind of total. But you always felt like India were in the hunt. And when Hashmat got out to that shot, took a leap, you knew that okay, they were going to be they're going to be behind the eight ball, because in a wicket like this, when you're playing in conditions like this, you want to have your batters in form, batting at the last 10 overs, especially when you can take advantage of that third power play. So, and they did try to be adventurous, but when they lost those couple of wickets in a matter of a few overs, it kind of put them behind the eight ball, and then you felt like, I actually felt, oh yeah, maybe this is under 250. I probably got it right. But kudos to them. And at a point when it felt like they might just get to 250, they got a 270. So they would be happy with getting 270 after that effort in the first kind of 15 overs.
One final question, Robin, before we let you go. Looking at this now total, you said it could be a tricky total. Crucial game coming up for Ishan Kishan, Shreyas Iyer. Both of these batters weren't up to scratch in that game versus Australia. Looking forward to some tougher contests coming. This is an opportunity to get some runs under their belt and gain that confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And very honestly, one wouldn't think much, even as a batter. You wouldn't think much about getting out on zero. If you're thinking too much about getting out on zero, you're actually overthinking, and you don't want to be thinking too much when you get off or not, because there's nerves in there. You want to break those nerves. You want to get off the mark. There are a lot of things there, and especially when you're playing your first World Cup, right? And both these blokes actually playing their first World Cup, so those nerves are obviously going to be there. So you don't want to overthink it. You want to go out there and just have fun and play good cricket. And I think if they get off the mark and they score those first 10, 15 runs confidently, they will be in for a big score, because both of them are in considerably decent form, especially Shreyas. I think it's just a matter of getting off to a good start. And for Ishan, I think he'd want to get to a big score. Simply because when Shubman comes in, he'll have to go back and play that reserve role. So he would want to look to kind of maximize and capitalize on all the opportunities he gets till Shubman comes back into the 11.
Okay, so that's the advice from Robin for these two batters. Go out, have fun, and tell you what, if these two batters go out and have fun, it'll be a lot of fun for the viewers as well, because you'll get to see plenty of boundaries. Both those batters are very aggressive by nature. But Robin, thank you so much for joining us on India Today in this mid-inning show. We'll, of course, have Robin back at the end of the game, analyzing how the Indian batters go about chasing that particular total.